Walter wants to tell you about the energy for the week. Hi, good morning. It's Saturday, 8/8. Energy for the week starting tomorrow, August 9th, through next Saturday, August 15th. I had a lot come in today. I have been doing energy extras on my Patreon for my supporting members. So if that's of interest to you with, some deeper dive type of information, you can go to the LINK in my bio and find my Patreon there. But for this collective here, the first thing that came up was the beginning of the week. My light died. This is exactly why I have a backup light, because that light was fully charged and has only been used for, I think, 2 videos. And I have had them last almost an hour before. So that's interesting. Energy for this week, starting out in the week, the beginning part of the week just felt low and slow. I do want to say that I had a distinct sensation that time is going to continue to feel very strange. For those of you who saw my video from the other day asking how everybody was doing and if time is really wonky for you, it has continued to be very wonky for me. Last night felt like the longest night of all eternity, which would have been great if I had been sleeping well. But Dante dreamed and moved and kicked so violently so many times all night long that it woke me up, and I had very strange dreams in the times that I was sleeping. So, but time is going to continue to feel strange. So I'm not sure if that's also tied to why the beginning of the week felt low and slow for me, but it felt low and slow. Those were the words that came in and the sensation that happened. And then it was like I catapulted to Thursday, Friday. Now I know that the solar eclipse is on Wednesday. It is a total solar eclipse. The path of totality is further north, like Greenlandish, northern Canada kind of area, I believe. There is a small sliver that's going to hit where I am in Ohio, and dip, I think, just barely far enough down to hit the DC area, I think. Just a portion of it. It's a new moon on steroids either way in terms of how the energy shows. But it was interesting to me that it was just like I catapulted right over that to Thursday, Friday. And that felt like very highlighted energy time frame for me. Both days, it started out feeling like a rhythmic pulse, like it almost felt like heartbeat rhythmic pulsing. And then after I kind of like took note of that and put that note in my journal and got back in, it then started to become a cyclical whoom, whoom, over and over again. And when kind of like feeling into why is there a cyclical rhythmic cyclical circular energy to it, the sense that came up was almost like recycling or cycling through old stories. It almost felt like to the point of deja vu, like, haven't we heard and seen this before? Something feels like a recycling of old information, a recycling of old news. I also want to say there was something that felt kind of like conflict related. I can't quite say if it feels like, in the Middle East, the conflict that's going on, or WAR, or is it like an ice circumstance? Like, something that feels conflict related and a recycling or a cycling through old stories where we're like, haven't we done this before? Hasn't this happened before? Isn't this the same kind of thing that happened before? So I'm just going to leave that with you. I also want to mention that it came in quite clearly that if you have pets, if you have animals you take care of, your animals might be extra wonky this week. They might have like behaviors that aren't normal. They might be overly anxious or overly excitable or something. I noticed the last 2 days or so that Dante is exhibiting behaviors that he exhibited before we ever got him fixed, and that he almost never, ever, ever exhibits since that time. We got him fixed when he was like 1.5 years, and he's 4. He's over 4. So, and I hadn't been thinking of that until in my meditation this morning. It came up like your animals might be doing funky things. They might be acting weird where you're like, what the heck is wrong with you? So just be aware of that. That feels like that's potential energy out there for many in the collective. The advice that came in from my guides this week was rest. Rest. Find time for rest. If it's 5 or 10 minutes that you're able to take through the day to just get some breathing done, to shut your brain down, to go outside and ground. And it wasn't even about like specifically coming back to center, specifically grounding your energy, specifically. It was very much about rest. So, and it felt like do those 5 or 10 minutes if you can, any time that you can find time for that. I mean, like if you have to go and lock yourself in the bathroom and just close your eyes and breathe, please. But also, anything at all that you can do to actually find a chunk of time for actual rest. And I don't mean like going and taking a nap, maybe that's the way that you do, but I mean chill, rest, like remove yourself from the wild and the world and what have you. That feels very important for this week. So let me know how everybody's doing. I hope you're doing well. And it could be an interesting week. Eclipses, people tend to say you expect the unexpected, you can't predict. So maybe that's why I jumped over it entirely. I do have just a little bit of additional information I'm going to put into my Patreon. As a reminder as well, I have a small group live mediumship reading coming up in the month of August. It's August 18th, Tuesday evening. So if you're interested in that, you can also find that in my you-know-where. So I look forward to doing all of that with you. Please, you can join my Patreon as a free member. I don't put as much information for free, but I do live streams and things like that. So I would be happy for you to join me over there. We'll talk soon. Take care.